Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Triple C. Sorry, I've had to record this like three different times. One time my mic was off, wasn't being registered by Audacity. The other time I was just making sure that I did a voiceover audition for a podcast, and I made sure that uh, I need to make sure that the audio was correct, and it was. So this is the third time. Third time's a charm, you know. So, how have you been in the past 7 days since we've last had our conversations? I've been good. I've been trying to heal up, working with people, working with my boss and everything, trying to take care of people the best I can, trying to give the best customer service I can in these post-apocalyptic times, this hellhole we kind of exist in right now. I hope you've been good. You know, a lot of things could happen, a lot of crazy shit could happen, but I'm glad that you're safe. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're listening. It's a new year's dawning upon us. Get ready to vote, man. Get out the vote. I don't fucking care what you vote for, honestly. Just vote. Just express democracy in some form. And also, you can say that you voted in the 2020 election, so that's cool, because you'll be able to look back on it with 2020 vision. Fuck. Damn, I messed that up. But, yeah. This is a really bad joke. I also realized halfway through one recording that I realized, the baby's born on, February 20th or February 2nd on 2020 are going to get bullied for the rest of their lives, man. They're going to be 2020 babies. Actually, that'd be a really cool idea. 2020 babies, and they have the ability to predict the future. Either way, your comments from the last time are really greatly appreciated. I respect them. I love them. It was very nice to have one good comment to keep me going. I also had another person say that they love to hear my voice, and they would just love to listen to my voice on end, which is kind of weird, but I accept it because, it's my voice. It's what I do. It's me. It's whatever, I've never thought that was weird in my life before. It just is a part of me. Just what's your favorite talent? I don't know what your favorite talent is, but let's say you have a capacity to make the best food, because you have such a sensitive tongue and taste buds. Do you ever think it's weird when people say oh, you can cook good, or how exactly how this thing tastes? I feel it's a part of you, and you should love it and accept it. But it shouldn't seem weird when people are oh, you're this. You should be yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but it's just a part of me. It's a tool that you can use. If you got a good singing voice, that's a tool that you can use. If you've got good dancing skills, it's a tool that you can use. So I guess part of my homework today is going to be telling you guys to take the tools that you've got, go out there and kick some ass with those tools. Make a dancing video. I don't know. Make a singing video. Write a poem. Do something. 2020. And this world and this time, this present day is not going to last forever. And so you got to make the most of it, It's like what Master Oogway said in Kung Fu Panda, Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. So I had a lot of people talk to me about what they thought about this show. Again, people like my voice. I was wondering if I should edit some of these brief pauses out or not, but because I want to make this as a meditative thing, I just thought that it'd be, uncut, so this conversation can flourish. And, not only just because I'm lazy, but because I want you guys to understand the person you're talking to, the podcast personality, get that sort of, just, I guess, understanding of me, if that makes any sense. I've had people tell me also some advice on what they want me to talk with next, and that is the difference between talk about theater, Dungeons and Dragons, and comedy in my life. Where does it intersect? Where does it not intersect? Where does one bleed into the other? And it got me thinking about straight plays a lot, specifically in theater. It made me think about I started in acting, and went to comedy, and is there a difference in that? And I would say that there definitely is, because most acting teachers and most acting institutions that you go into tend to give you a feeling of that the only practical application of theater is seriousness. The only practical application of theater is drama. I once had a teacher say everything is like a fight in a play. So everything is acting. Everything is I'm gonna punch someone. I'm gonna do this. I wanna well, not literally punch someone, but you want to get the idea that you're delivering a punch through your voice, that you're gonna do something through your voice. And I think he did get into this idea, that teacher, even though I don't believe like every scene is an argument, every scene has a goal, every scene has a character focus, a foci. And like the best actors, I think, can dumb even the most complicated shit down to like a base idea. And that was his theory as well. And I respect that. Like, go take Shakespeare and boil it down to every character down to its like base idea. What is the thesis? What is the core of this person? You could say Romeo is looking for love. He is lonely. He wants someone to be with. And when you make it that way, then you have to understand, like, it's hard as well, but you have to understand, like, what is loneliness to you? What is isolation? What is not having a loved one in your life feel like? And what does it feel like to finally find that person and not just act it, but to really understand what it must be like for you personally to have finally found someone in your life, even if it's a friend that you can interconnect with, that you can be with, that you can understand, And it's hard for a lot of people to do that because they'll just see, oh, this character loves this person. Let me just act out what love feels like. Love makes me feel like this. I'm screaming up my love. I'm professing my love. Oh, darling, how I love you. And it feels hollow. And I dealt with that for a very long time. I'm not fucking shitting on anyone that does that. It's a normal thing. I did it all the time. I still sometimes do it when I don't have an idea what the fucking emotion is. Which is also a thing about theater education, is sometimes a lot of theatrical education is bullying the shit out of your students and breaking them down to their base components and then retrofitting them. A lot of people don't feel that way. A lot of people might not think about it that way, but I sometimes think that there are some teachers that think theater is solely about destruction of the self, because only through the destruction of the self will we as actors, they believe that we as actors, only through destruction of ourselves and deconstruction of ourselves, will we be able to input character ideas. What is sad to me? I don't really know. I've had a lot of moments where I am sad, but what is true sadness to me? I don't think I've ever known or will ever know that. What is anger? I don't fucking know. I've been angry, but I've never understood true anger. Like, what sets me off? What is this? What is that? As a theater person, you channel it, and to channel it properly, you have to understand it. And I feel like that's what, like I said before, some people just don't understand what it is. What is love to you? Not just to Romeo or Juliet or any romantic character, but what is love to you as a person right now, and how can you express that? Because I think one thing that teachers do wrong is they try and put a character on a person. They try to say, play Romeo, play Juliet, play this character, play that character, right? But I think what they should be asking people is to further contextualize what it means. What does it mean to be this character at this moment? What does it mean to do this thing at this time? What does it mean to you? Because at the end of the day, people do not watch Hamlet just to watch Hamlet. They watch it for the idea. Like I watch, if I ever watch, I like watching Kenneth Branagh, because Kenneth Branagh, even though he does Hamlet or whatever fucking play he does, he takes a little bit of himself and he puts it into that character. And I think that's what people want to see. But the problem is, I think some people and some teachers don't really teach that as well, or can't teach it as well as I think they do. And they just tell them to play this character and not understand it. Mainly because maybe school doesn't give a shit about the arts and the director doesn't have time. But, that's my gift to you. But doing that and not understanding it is what made me, I think, not a great actor and not a great actor, not a great voice actor either, because if you don't understand what makes you mad as a person, how can you convey anger in your voice? You just do it through yelling, because yelling is a form of anger, yes, but it is not the primary form of anger. Yelling can be great, shorthand, but so is calm speech, calm, deliberate speech. You ever get that in the time when your mother, she looks at you and she's angry, but she's not yelling. She's just like, Joffrey Stevenson Bellium, get over here right now. What did you do? Like, it's not the best. I mean, you could probably critique the fuck out of what I just did, but like, that is a form of anger. It's not just yelling. I feel like a lot of people default to that. It's why, I love wrestling, but some wrestlers are not great actors. Like, there's a certain form of acting wrestling fans will accept, and I think that, like, sure, because it's more often than not, and more importantly than not, it's physical theater. But, like, just having a guy like, oh yeah, brother, I'm going to the mountaintop, and you're gonna go, like the idea of excitement equals shouting is the most annoying shit to me. And I think that, like, you can convey so much more in just regular speech and regular tone and regular word, verbiage, and stuff like that than you could ever do just by screaming. And wrestling forgives that, because you're not really here to yell and hear people talk a lot in promos. You're just here to watch some dudes wrestle, or some gals wrestle, or some gendered people wrestle, or some people wrestle. There you go. And there's something good about that. But, like, if you want to go into acting, if you want to go into, like, really transcend, and there are wrestlers, even in wrestling, that do it. They're rare sometimes, but they do exist, where they are able to transcend just wrestling, acting, and being a really freaking great actor, really freaking good. And those are the people I love so much. And it always happens, like, in a bright twinkle. Like, it's like it just happens for like a second and then it just disappears. Or maybe it happens and it's a big thing. Like, The Rock, not even, like, he was able to cut angry promos that were yelling promos, yes, but he also had, like, this sort of candor about him, this way of, like, inhabiting the character of The Rock. And what does The Rock do when he's angry? What does The Rock feel? What does The Rock do for cool and machismo? How does, this, that, and the third. And that's a really good actor. Same with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was really good at it. Like, voice acting, even though his whole thing was, like, yelling a little bit, sort of like catchphrase, yelling, stunners, But he could do good acting. He could do good comedy. He could do all that. Kurt Angle, too. Kurt Angle was a friggin' great, like, comedian when it comes to just being, like, goofy. So there are people in certain niches that branch out of that, but I think that they did that through understanding what they had to be and what their character is. And that translates to comedy very well, because acting is a lot of drama, a lot of anger, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of straight plays. A lot of famous straight plays are not comedies. A lot of famous straight plays, or rather, I shouldn't call them straight, just basic plays without music. And some plays with music, not musicals. That's a whole different thing. Like, the famous plays without music usually, like, are serious. So a lot of theater teachers will only teach serious plays, because why would they teach you anything else? There's not going to be, like, a lot of comedies in this world. There's not a lot of dramedies, I feel like sometimes they're even afraid of it as a idea, They're afraid of acting comedic. In one of my college, in the college I went to, and a lot of other colleges, in high school too, and like when I do theater camps, there was a lot of times where they're like, no, you shouldn't be making fun of this. You should be acting. You should be screaming. You should be yelling. You should be bawling. You shouldn't be fucking laughing. There's no fucking yucks in this play. And I'm like, there's some shit in this play that's kind of fucking funny. Like Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet is funny as fuck sometimes, but he's serious. But his whole thing is he's fucking hilarious. And that's a character you have to understand comedic timing and ideas with, and not just be like, whatever, right? There's a humor in Walter White, even though he is not a comedic character. There is a humor in Iago, a dark humor, but a humor nonetheless that is there, even though he is not a character that you should like. There are funny parts to characters. There are interesting quirks. Characters and people in writing and everything can sometimes have a fucking really weird joke. And I feel like I'm turning into the Joker by talking about it like that, but it does exist. But yeah, when I learned comedy, when I started to go into comedy writing and performance, it was a whole different thing, because then I was able to realize, oh, I can't just play angry. I can't just do this. I can't just be that. Like, I'm not playing, because theater, you kind of have this thing where you're certainly, especially in theater, there's a certain sort of thing that people do where it's like, I'm not really acting more than I am trying to impress the director. I'm just trying to give the director the vision that they want. And fuck everyone else. I will just I'm playing to a crowd of one, I think a teacher once told me, like, you look at the director a lot when you're acting. Stop looking at the director. I'm like, well, the thing is, that was cultivated in me through this perception of theater. The perception of you are impressing one man or one woman, and that person is the director. And they have final say over everything. So if they don't like it, you have to change it. Because they can just tell you to not do it, So with comedy, you learn the ability to just say, fuck it, Because most of the time, if you're in Chicago and you're doing comedy theater, I dropped my timer. But most of the time you're doing comedy theater, you're basically going to people and saying, fuck it, I'm being funny. This joke is funny to me. This joke is hilarious to me, and go fuck yourself. And I'm going to do this joke. If you don't like it, then I'm going to move on with my life, and it's not going to fucking matter. Because you'll forget, like, in 2 minutes. I'm performing in Second City or some fucking bar somewhere, so people are wasted looking at me. They're not going to remember tomorrow the really fucking shitty joke that I did. They're just going to remember the funny shit. They're not going to remember my horrible dick joke. They're going to remember a better joke than that. And there's a good quality in not giving a fuck about, like, your joke. Like, there's dedication to it, but, like, not giving a fuck if it is, like, funny to someone or not, but in a good way. I don't mean, like, racist jokes and shit like that. Like, I'm talking about, like, crafting a joke and being like, I like this joke. This joke is great. It's wholesome. It's whatever. Or, like, it's not wholesome, but it's like, it's been curated, and people think, like, it's not like a problematic joke. It's just a joke, and I'm able to do it. I know that's a weird line to cross and a kind of a contradiction. To say, oh, all jokes are funny, but, like, some jokes should not be. You should care, but also not care. And welcome to the world of theater and acting and life. Is you should care about what you say depending on, like, where you are. Like, I'm not going to do a racist joke if I was doing a stand-up in, like, Texas. Like, if I'm making a joke about racists, I don't know what the fuck it is, like Southern Texas or even Southern Illinois. I'm not going to make a conservative joke there because they're going to beat the shit out of me. And I'm not going to write about, or I'm not going to do this sketch in somewhere else because they might beat the shit out of me, Or it just doesn't fit what's going on, right? So you have to be care about those things, but mainly mainly the ability to write sketches. And when you write sketches, like to get the first stuff down, get the cream in there, get the I'm talking about getting the fingers to the keyboard or the pen to the paper. Is just not giving a fuck about whatever idea it is, not caring, just writing it down or typing some stuff up and being like, okay, that's it. This is what it is. This is the joke. This is the punchline. I just need to fucking write this down, and if it's stupid, it's stupid. I'll show it to my friends. I'll read it to some people. I'll look at some people. I'll do my type 5 to some people. And if it's a stupid joke, hey, and I run it by like more than just one person. If they say it's a stupid joke, then hey, like 4 people know that joke is shitty. So what? Like, it's not going to spread. And I can just edit it later, And that's a great thing to feel. And that's a great thing to have. It's just the ability to just know that it's not even like nihilism, but it's like nothing in that part matters. The universe is random. It's chaotic. I mean, you're here listening to me right now. Who knows what you'll be doing tomorrow? It's fucking messy. So, some things you can just put out in the world there. And especially with writing, you just put out in the world there. See what happens. If someone calls you a shithead for it, then they call you a shithead for it. And sometimes what you did was really stupid. And but you wrote it, Own up to that. But also understand that whatever you write is in the air, but also, like, not in a way. It's very contradictory. I also think one thing about theater is the way it's going to turn out in 2020, post-2020, post-COVID theater is going to be amazing. Because I don't know what will survive. We had Second City in Chicago put up for sale. IO closed down and is put up for sale. And there might be other theaters after that have probably closed or are up for sale at this point. We have no idea. And I think what that means is it's time for people like you and me and other people to really take up that mantle of creating the new form of theater, the new form of comedy, the new form of acting, Like, that's why I think podcasts are essential, are an essential way to get your story across. Because I don't know, I feel like if you can't get some stuff over in words, it's probably not going to look good in action. And yeah, but will theater as a system change? Definitely. I don't think there's going to be there might be a lot of theater goers for the first half, but it's probably going to go back down. Or, I bet theaters are wondering, like, what the fuck is the first play we're going to put on when COVID comes, we get the cure or whatever, and some people take it and some people are fucking idiots. What's going to happen? What's our theater protocol? What were we going to show? And I feel like that's going to be very interesting, especially with comedy theaters, is who's going to take over these mantles? Who's going to take the mantle of IO and make it progressive and make it better? Are we going to do that? Or they're going to make it better, progressive? Or are we going to relapse? Because I hope we don't. But some people out in this world, and we've seen it multiple times, still vie for the past. There's a sort of comfort in nostalgia, I guess you could say. And it's a ensnaring comfort in everything, not just theater, but in life. There's an ensnaring comfort to not do anything, to keep it as the way it is, to keep it frozen in time. Things like Make America Great Again, stuff like that. This idea of freezing things in time and space. And there's people who want to keep it frozen. People who want to just stop the world and live in this perpetual cycle, perpetual timeline, and just pretend like nothing's changed past the 60s and the 50s, right? Because that was a good time for them, or at least it's what people imagine was a good time. It's like people who think of the Roaring 20s as this really cool and hip time, when in fact it was like really shitty to live, It was great if you were a rich white man who was straight or pretending to be straight in society, because you just lived without persecution. You got to do whatever the fuck you wanted. And I hope theater and society doesn't regress that way. That doesn't fall into that nostalgia trap. That we make comedy that transcends. That doesn't punch down and keeps going forward. And I mean, we can only try so much. And I hope we keep doing it, you know. It's like the song from Grandson, you know, do you have enough love in your heart to get your hands dirty, you know, and keep going through this shit and just fucking fighting for good theater, good wholesome comedy theater, good wholesome everything, good wholesome acting. I want to see, honestly, about everything, I want to see more progression. Like I said last time, I am basically, I'm pretty much near obese, if not obese over, but like fat as fuck, probably. Black guy. And there aren't a lot of roles for people like me in theater, you know, or in acting anyways. Even in voiceover, you know, because even try as people might to be diverse, there's a skill ceiling, the hidden ceiling, not even hidden really, but like a ceiling for African American, especially African American women and men, and especially just others in general. So there's a certain je ne sais quoi that they want from African American people, which is tall, ripped, muscular, or a fucking joke. And I want to get rid of that. I want to see black people in leads. And not just horror movies like Get Out and shit. I want people to actually go and invest into, you know, really good theater, really good acting, really good voiceover, really good people. Expand that shit. Hire more voice actors. Hire me. But not because I told you to, but because you want to. And hire people not because I told you to, but because you want to. And really delve into this fucking... I want more color in acting and in writing and in books and in theater and in whatever. Because I don't want to make people feel like how I feel or how people sometimes feel about everything, which is that there is a sort of thing, I think, for a lot of African American people, a lot of people of color, a lot of people of other genders and sexual orientations, that there is a certain stigma that you will always be placed in, that I want fucking gone, you know. I want the stigma to leave. I want to live in a future where anyone can pursue any acting role and be anyone and feel like anything that they can, you know. I want someone to really fucking bust shit wide open, you know, to reform everything. And the thing is, I don't know if that's even possible in my lifetime or everyone else's lifetime. I hope it's possible in my lifetime, but it's going to take a long time, and we're going to get our hands dirty, man. Do you love the sunset? Are you fed up yet? Do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty? That's my homework for you. Do some cool shit. Get your hands dirty. Fight for causes. Donate to charities. Good causes, and donate to good charities. You know, help a friend out. All that fun shit. And that's my thing for today. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Joshua R.E. Wilson, capital J, capital R-E-W. You can always, you know, post here on YouTube. I'll always be here. Eventually, I'll upload all this stuff as a podcast audio. It's just the last couple days were very hectic, to say the least, at work. But things seem to be slowing down and evening out, so I'll have a better schedule, a better time to do stuff like this. Hopefully I do more stuff like this, honestly. It's really nice. Would you ever want to see me do Let's Plays or something? I don't fucking know. I have a lot of games, but none of them I ever really finish. But we'll see what happens, man. Love yourself, love the people around you, and live the best you can, man. Hail yourself.